What is up, amazing women here in the Nourish membership? I am thrilled because today we have a really special guest speaker. She is the world's #1 Move Well coach, and we're going to talk all about what that is and why this is such a powerful title for herself. Because she really is impacting women's lives in a tremendous way that is so tangible and so accessible. That's why I wanted to bring her into the group to share her expertise. And it is none other than Denise Balyoz. What's up? How's it going?
Hey, hey, Renata. Fabulous to be here. Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
Me too. Okay, first and foremost, we got to make sure everyone knows a little bit about you. So would
Okay.
you tell everyone like who you are and what you do and what is the #1 in the world Move Well coach?
Who am I? I'm a coach. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a somatic movement teacher, but really what this comes down to, the entire ethos of all of my work is your nervous system. Because
Yes.
if your nervous system is dysregulated, if you are stuck in stress, nothing works. Your health, your well-being, your relationships, how you show up at work, how you experience your life, it's all. And through my lengthy journey, we probably don't have enough time to share all that, but through all of the different experiences of my life, I have gone seeking for what tools are quick, accessible, short, that I can use every day to help keep my nervous system regulated, appropriate, so that I can move between parasympathetic, from calm to stress and back super fast, super quickly, and keep myself feeling happy, healthy, in alignment, grounded, and free. And whether that's physical, mental, or emotional, in all aspects of my life. And really, that's what my work is.
I
It's
love
about
it so much.
combining all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what you mentioned too, I wanted to also point out you are one of the healthiest people I know. And I don't just necessarily mean because you eat, healthy, clean food. It's everything that you just said, because health encompasses not just the physical body, which is important. It's
Yeah.
also your mental and emotional health. It's also your spiritual health, whatever that might mean to you. And so I really want to dive into today, how can we create a deeper connection to self in December? It's so easy to get thrown out of that self-care practice this month because we have, Christmas or whichever holiday you might celebrate, or none at all, perhaps. But maybe it is the pressure of feeling like you need to go to all these holiday parties or get gifts for people. Or, you sleep a little bit less because you're going to make sure all these things are done. There's lots of stressors that come up
Mhm.
at this time. So, how does your philosophy help us to
Mhm.
create a deeper connection to self?
I love this question. I literally an hour ago recorded a master class on celebrating dormant splendor, which is all about the contradiction that's present for us, particularly as women, here in this time and in the season, because we've got winter time, which is inviting us to rest, to hibernate, to sleep, whilst we're turning towards the expansion time of the year. And we're also being pulled into celebrating, which, yay, celebrations, they can anchor us and they can honor so many wonderful things in our life, but they can also deplete us and fatigue us. And we eat food and drink things and that we might not normally. And so it's this real time, but how do we honor ourselves? And um, one of the shortest, quickest practices that I offer to anyone is go to the bathroom, close the door, be still for 5 minutes. People are going to not disturb you for 5 minutes in the
Hopefully,
bathroom.
hopefully.
Hopefully, my dog would, but little kids might. But usually you have half a chance. 5 minutes, and the only reason I say go to the bathroom and close the door is that you can close the door for 5 minutes and take some time to yourself, connect and tune inward, be still. So that's the quickest thing you can do. There are all sorts of other practices and techniques that involve more somatic ways of working with your body that directly impact your nervous system. But if you don't have that in your toolkit, go take 5 minutes, take a couple of breaths, maybe breathe into your feet, and just be still, tune inward and listen. And that will serve you in your stead as you go forth into your day. This kind of piggybacks onto surprisingly, several conversations that I've had with women just this in the last 3 days. And there's two themes. The first theme is, God, I gotta put everybody else first.
Yes.
I've got so much to do. I got to do this for my kids and this for my husband and this for my family. And I've got guests coming and I need to make sure that they have a good time.
Mm.
I have a client. She's a beautiful soul, this wonderful lady. She's just gotten married for a second time to a very special man. She's later on in life.
Yeah.
And she was telling me they created this really unique, beautiful ceremony. And she was telling me how wonderful the day was. But by the end of the day, she was physically ill. She was
Oh, goodness.
physically, yeah. And she said, if I'm really honest, I didn't enjoy my day as much as I was hoping I would because I was running around and making sure everybody else had a really good time.
Oh.
And she said it was still beautiful and it was wonderful and it was amazing. And that was her experience. And so my question would be, well, who is the most important person in this story? Is it everyone else or is it you? Because if we're not serving the people that we love from ourselves being nourished and fully filled up with nourishment, whether that's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, or nutritionally, and hydration, I'm sure you'd add.
Yes.
If we're not, if we're not putting ourselves first to ensure that we're doing all of that, we can't serve our family and friends from our place of being most powerful, is number one. That's the
Mm.
first conversation. The second conversation is really not sure I'm doing it right. I kind of have self-doubt. I'm not doing it right. And that kind of opens the door for us to say, well, why do things have to be right or wrong?
Mm.
Why do we have to push ourselves? And especially as we look forward into the holiday season, that we get everything, the perfect presents, the perfect meal, why do we have to arrange everything perfectly? I know I come from a long tradition of women who have that as their pattern. I hold my hand
Yes.
up.
Yeah,
I
me
can fall
too.
into that when I'm not paying attention. So, and that is a double whammy. Not only are we putting all this pressure on ourselves, but that concept of I have to do it right, I have to be more productive, I have to be more effective, automatically triggers our nervous system into stress, into the sympathetic state, which automatically introduces mental, emotional, physical stress in our body because our brain is saying, you're not safe. So put all your defenses up. But if you're walking around with all these defenses up, you're not open, you're not in your personal power. You certainly can't receive the joy and the beauty of the season, and you're going to end up even more depleted.
Mm.
So, yeah,
That's
sorry.
big.
Did I answer the
No.
question?
No, I love where you're going with this in terms of the two observances that you've had in recent conversations with clients. And so then we've started down this road of, what can you do? And coming back to the nervous system, coming back to the
Yeah,
somatic work. Number
yeah.
one, you spoke about just taking time to
Mm,
breathe, to be in
yeah.
stillness. I think that is wonderful and something I definitely agree with.
Mm.
I'm also recognizing that there may be women listening that are like, I mean, that sounds like a fairy tale.
Yep,
Like, that sounds nice. Like, cool, cool,
yep,
cool. Yeah. And maybe after the holiday season, I'll get to that.
yep.
So I'm curious. Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. And Renata, that used to be me.
Mm.
So I'm not standing here saying, yeah, this is so super easy. I used to be that massively stressed out executive that used to hop on planes and fly over all over and have big jobs and work 80 hours a week and had shoulders like rocks. And I would get to the holiday, sorry, I've been talking all day.
Yeah.
I would get to the holiday season and I would stop work and whoosh, I would get sick.
Crash.
That was my
Yeah.
experience, crash. And when I was in my early 30s, hit a wall at one point where medically I was put on bed rest for 3 weeks because I had literally, you didn't know that, did you?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I had literally pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. My adrenals were shot. I had floaters in my vision. I had a non-specific rash, and literally, they were scanning my brain for MS, which I didn't have, but but I was put on bed rest. From the stress, I was in a state of chronic stress. I lived in stress 24/7, 7 days a week, nonstop, and my
Mm.
body was shutting down.
Literally shutting down.
Literally shutting down, and 3 weeks, and then it was a long and slow. Nutrition was a big part, changing my diet out to heal and nourish everything, and slowly, slowly, little by little, introducing practices that were more somatic. So I'm a yoga practitioner. I have a daily practice, and I am a daily somatic movement practitioner, though that has been a newer find. And I'm gobsmacked at how powerful that can be. Now, whilst I may commit to a longer practice for myself, the only commitment I ask my clients for is 10 to 15 minutes a day.
Mm.
And some of my clients will say, well, I don't have 10 to 15 minutes a day. Really? But do you have 5 minutes twice a day? 5 minutes
Mm.
when you wake up, 5 minutes at night. And in that short of a window, you can start to make a difference. You may not dissolve all the tension patterns and introduce a better range of motion and remove all of the anxiety, or, fully shift a state of, but you start to use the physical body as a way of cracking open the window to start to shift the stress that's present in your mind and in your heart, and start to make changes that then the commitment can then deepen to, okay, well, maybe I can do 10 minutes in the morning, and
Mm.
okay, maybe I can do 15. It becomes more manageable, because the beautiful thing about making a teeny tiny little commitment is that when we make these big sweeping overarching commitments, New Year's is coming, how many people, I'm going to do an hour a day at the gym,
Yeah.
we instantaneously, our unconscious brain is saying danger, danger, and our brain goes back into stress,
Mm.
puts us
And
back in
it's
our
so
stress.
easy to go back there.
Yeah. So being super gentle, doing less rather than more, but making a teeny tiny little commitment is just like the way we may work with somatic movement, where we almost don't move at all.
Mm.
And so much dissolves. The less you move, the more that things dissolve. And even there are a few of my clients, particularly in the beginning of the work, will say, don't move. I want you to imagine that you're lifting your head from your
Mm.
upper back muscles. And now I want you to imagine that you're putting it back down on the floor, and you can feel the tension patterns in the upper back melt and release.
Wow.
You're looking puzzled.
That's so cool. But I understand it. It's that mind muscle connection that is being exhibited.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just, when we finish this call, I'm going to post on Instagram a little practice, a little micro practice that uses the breath to start to shift tension patterns. So when we're stressed and tense, usually we breathe up here and the ribs lift up and the shoulders get tight and the back gets tight. Some people shut down the diaphragm as well as a protective mechanism.
Mm.
But if we use the power of our imagination, and we imagine that here in the back, under the shoulder blades, and around the side, like if I had angel's wings or bird's wings,
Mm.
would be attached here. And if I were to open my wings, like if I make snow angels, they would open out this way.
Yeah.
So if you can use the power of your imagination and notice, okay, I'm breathing here, let me imagine that I'm breathing from that spot. And let me imagine that those wings, as I breathe in, go this way, and as I breathe out, come back.
Mm,
As that pattern starts to become more okay with your body, instead of breathing up here, the shoulders relax, this relaxes, that starts to happen. You'll feel tension start to melt from not only neck and shoulders, but hips and back.
mm.
And you drop yourself down into your center. You drop yourself into parasympathetic. And that's something you can do anywhere, anytime.
Wow. That's so cool.
So
And I
that's,
love the
yeah.
visual of like you were
Mm.
talking about the angel wings. I feel like that is such a great visualization technique to add because then you can
Yeah.
really feel the expansion and the dropping.
Using pictures. So you will, I don't want to say never because never say never. You will never hear me talk about biological, scientific, biomechanical names to muscles and joints and this and that and the other. And even with my clients who know a little bit about that, I say, I don't want names because that's throwing you into your thinking brain.
Mm.
Get out of your thinking brain. Use pictures in your head. In fact, I say use crazy pictures in your head. Imagine things that imagine you're the Pillsbury Doughboy and you're breathing here. Imagine things that are so silly you giggle to yourself. Like you've just shifted your nervous system.
Exactly. I love
Yeah.
that. That's a great tip.
Mm, yeah.
Oh, amazing. Okay, so really we have two incredible micro practices there. We've talked about
Mm.
obviously the breath. We've talked about locking yourself in the bathroom.
To go and do this breathing practice.
Yeah, and in there, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I'm also curious because I've just learned something new about you when you said you had bed rest for 3 weeks.
Mm.
How did you begin that somatic practice? What was that tiny thing that you did?
Uh, that event was the trigger. I always thought I was healthy, but really didn't, was it? That was the trigger that started me on a now 20-year journey of, so you all know how old I am now.
I know I'm like, but you're only 21. Like, this is amazing.
A more than 20-year journey of learning about health and well-being in all sorts of different healing and complementary modalities that gradually peeling back the layers of the onion to get me to where I am today. Now,
Mm,
this has taken me more than 2 decades to be this way in my being and in my life, and that's a long time. And my ethos and my goal is to help women get there a whole lot faster. I have a another beautiful client. She's a mom of a young girl who's just in like year one, first grade. Sorry, let's translate to American speak.
yeah. You gotta speak American here. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
been in the UK for a long time. And she came to me because she was very anxious. She had had a severe state of anxiety for more than 15 years from a traumatic event that happened when she was in her early 20 years,
Mm,
early 20s. And she's done all the stuff, the psychology, the counseling, the talking therapies, the this, that, the other, still very anxious and very like this. So we've started doing work using the body as a portal into the mind, into the heart through somatic work. And then we've added in the coaching, the conversation container. And those are the two most powerful ways if your nervous system is stuck in chronic stress. That combination of connection and movement is the quickest way of dissolving a stuck tension pattern, restoring the sensory motor feedback loops, restoring a sense of health and well-being and alignment so that you can then create from a resilient nervous system.
mm.
And so those are two ends of the stick. And obviously, this particular client that is very knowledgeable in nutrition. So she's got that basis covered.
Awesome. Love it.
Otherwise, I'd be sending her to you.
I'm so glad to hear
Um,
that.
yeah, she's one of the rare people who have ticked that box. But and in the last 6 months, her approach to life has completely changed. So you asked about how did I start?
Mm,
In the beginning, my ask, could you commit to 5 minutes a day every day, 10 minutes a day every day, was very hit and miss for her.
mm,
Just today in our call, she said, do you know what? I'm getting up half an hour earlier and purposely making time, and I'm feeling the impact when I do that in my day. And so she's now committed to doing that through the holiday period where it's not a normal schedule. It's all over the
right.
place and they'll be in people's homes and as they go traveling to visit family.
Mm, wow.
Yeah. Little, little by little by little by little without pushing is the
Amazing.
magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So she's begun to really implement this practice and purposefully prioritize it
Yeah.
at the start of
And
her day.
she's acknowledged that it's not just a, oh gosh, I wish I felt peaceful inside. She has moments of calm and peace inside that she never felt before.
Mm,
I have another client who um hmm, depression, anxiety, she's on the spectrum,
mm,
self-harm, um eating disorder.
yeah.
And we simultaneously started working together with the body, with movement, and with conversation, though our conversations could only be 15 minutes because that's all she could sustain at the beginning of this year.
Mm,
And through that process of using the physical body and movement to kind of crack open the door into having those discussions and looking at mental emotional patterns, she now has a regular job that she loves. She can work more hours. She has a girlfriend. She goes out with her friends socially into noisy environments that would have been overwhelming for her. She goes out to big concerts. She's younger. Um, and her whole energy and demeanor has changed.
that's incredible. I literally had chills as you were talking about her. And I
Mm.
love that you have been able to show her and guide her on
Yeah.
practices that can really help herself. And look at the tremendous impact that has
Mm.
made to her, not just her health, which is, we both know, is a huge priority of ours, but in the way that she can enjoy her life. That's
Life's
huge.
not Life is not about, I'm just going to get through the day and tick the boxes. Life is about, do you really love waking up in the morning and enjoy your day,
Yeah.
even on a normal work day or even on a day when you're cleaning the house?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
And the basis for that is your nervous system. If it's stuck chronically in stress, then you might not. So, yeah, very, very,
Exactly.
very powerful.
It really
Yeah.
is. I love hearing these stories from you. And I also want to end with a couple of questions.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
Okay. So, number one, I want to make sure everyone can find you if they have additional questions, because I also know you have amazing products and services to
Thank you.
continue with the things that we've been talking about today. So, first and foremost, let everyone know how they can find you.
Find me on Instagram, probably the easiest. And I'm posting 12 days of Christmas so you can get 12 little micro practices
Yay.
to support your health and well-being. So I think today's day 4. So yeah,
Love
the
it.
Instagram, just Denise Balyoz will get you there. Um,
Perfect.
come find me on Instagram, message me, carrier pigeon, email me.
Did you get my carrier pigeon from the other
Yeah,
day? Oh,
something
great.
pecked at the window.
And I believe you also have a link there where you can go to your website and have a
Mm,
look at all of her amazing offerings. You know, you have such incredible tools and they're really
yeah,
implementable, which I love. It's not just
thank you.
theory, it's really things that you can do in your life. So
Yeah,
amazing. Just thank you for doing what you're doing.
thank
And
you.
then my second question, to really end this on a note where people can also feel like they can implement what they've learned today in their lives.
Mm,
I know you've already mentioned a couple of incredible tips. I'd
mm,
love for you to share if a woman is really feeling that chronic stress, if she's really feeling that pull to put herself last on the priority list and to continue to give to others to the point of being completely exhausted,
mm.
what would be that one reminder or words of wisdom that you would love to share with her today?
I'm going to quote somebody who you know. When we serve that deeply, when we put ourselves last, we're doing that because we love so greatly.
Mm,
The reason we as women put ourselves last is that it's like we're in the same way that we give birth as women, we're splitting ourselves open to give love to those that we care most about, our families usually.
yeah.
And if you think about it from the aspect that, you know, me and my physical form, this is a limited structure. So if I just split myself open and I start to pour out, pretty gosh darn soon, what's in here is going to get empty. And then what
Mm,
do you do? You're not going to have anything left in here to give. So while it can feel super selfish to say, I'm going to put myself first and I'm going to put my needs first and I'm going to nourish my mind, body, and soul first, even if it's 15 minutes, half an hour a day, I know that I'm then going to have filled myself up in such a way that I then have a reservoir, and not only a reservoir, but a waterfall from which to give to those I love on an unending basis. And that's a
mm,
much more powerful way of being than I'm just going to put myself last until I fall over. And
mm.
I say this from, you know, I think you know this, Renata. I've been a single mom since my daughter was born in a country where my family is back in America. So all by myself with raising my daughter, who's now 15. And the 3 days after she was born, I came home from the hospital and this very, if anyone knows, anyone who's Irish, they can be very in your face and very direct. And this homeopath came to treat my daughter and I, and she looked me in the face and she said, "If you are okay, your daughter will be okay. Remember that no matter what."
Love
And
that.
from that day on, that has been my ethos for myself. I've put myself first. I put my practices first because I knew if I got sick, no one was there to care for my daughter. So I had to care for me. And and for those women who are on this call who are mothers, you may think, "Oh, but my child needs me. My child wants to play with me. My child needs that um process of saying to your children, Mama needs to go and take care of Mama. I need to go put myself, and I just need 15 minutes. I will come and be with you in 15 minutes. You're actually parenting very strongly to your children the importance of putting yourself first. So for your daughters and your sons, take care of yourself first so that you can serve those that you love.
Incredible. I love how you describe that. And one of my favorite sayings from another person we both know is that love and service is incomplete if it doesn't include yourself.
Yes. That's what was
Uh,
echoing in my
I know
head.
we're basically the same person. We just keep thinking the
Yeah.
same things. Yeah.
We're talking about the same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
such an incredible conversation. I feel like there's so many tangible practices as well as, mindset reminders in this conversation. So I just really truly want to thank you. I appreciate you so, so much. I'm going to put all of your links below the video as well so people can continue to reach out. And guys, I highly recommend checking out the 12 Days of Christmas too, because I love these micro practices. So effective, so simple, and make time for yourself really is the key with all of
Yeah.
this.
We're too busy as women not to have a toolbox of super simple, easily accessible practices. And yeah, that's what I want to equip you with. So, yeah,
Amazing.
please reach out. I'd love to chat.
Yay.
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you, Renata. It
incredible.
was an
Thank you
absolute
so
pleasure.
much.
You're
Ah, I
welcome.
loved it. Okay, guys, have an incredible rest of your day. I love this topic of creating a deeper December. let us know what your thoughts were. What were your aha moments? What would you like more insight on? Or perhaps if you have more questions for Denise, I can definitely pass them on too. But like I said, in the meantime, keep nourishing your body, your mind, and your spirit. Have an amazing rest of your day, and we will see you again very soon.